Hey, what's up YouTube? It's your boy Mo Allo. You're tuned into another day of B-Ball Summary. We've got 7 games to cover off today, so we'll get right into it after the news section. So it seems like the 76ers are a hot topic recently. It's been rumoured that the Cavaliers are after Ben Simmons, and they have a trade package that could be quite tempting for the Philadelphia 76ers. I imagine this would include Kevin Love, Colin Sexton, and some draft picks. Obviously, there's still plenty of time for this news to develop, so we will keep you as up to date as we can, letting you know as soon as we know. But why don't we kick right into our first game? We have the Brooklyn Nets versus the Orlando Magic. Now initially, this was quite a close game, with both teams going back and forth in the first quarter. However, to sum this game up nicely, TLC, Timothé Luwawu-Cabarrot, came to play. He was incredibly effective for the Nets and helped drive them to a great win. Outside of the first period, the Nets absolutely controlled this game and come away with a win, 108-96. Brooklyn win by 12. The player of this game for me was Timothé Luwawu-Cabarrot. I'll refer to him as TLC from here on out. Now TLC scored an incredible 24 points, shooting 68% from the field and 50% from three-point land. Although he's a bubble rising star, I think we should really get used to hearing TLC's name, and I'm hoping that he finds a solid rotational position within the league. However, TLC is no longer a surprise if you've been listening to this podcast for any period of time, but one player that was a surprise for the Brooklyn Nets tonight was Jeremiah Martin, who also ends his night with 24 points. And in Game 2, we have the Houston Rockets versus the San Antonio Spurs. Although there was a bit of back and forth in this game, it was quite obvious that the Houston star players weren't really in it. With James Harden out for unknown reasons, Russell Westbrook led the starters with 20 points. However, it looked like they were just going through the motions. At this point in time, it's understandable. They aim to keep themselves fresh for the playoffs as they have some tough matchups ahead of them. But that ultimately means that the Spurs get an easy win tonight. They led by as much as 29, and the final score was 105-123. San Antonio win by 18. I'm really curious to see if San Antonio is able to make it into the playoff contest. At the moment, they're fighting to keep their playoff streak alive, with the Spurs making the playoffs basically every year since I've been alive. And moving right along, we have Game 3, the Phoenix Suns versus the Philadelphia 76ers. There was a bit of back and forth in this game as the Philadelphia bench tried to pull away from the Suns. But it really should be highlighted that Philly is missing their all-stars in Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Coming up against a red-hot Phoenix Suns team who has gone 6-0 was potentially the worst possible scenario. D-Book drops 35 on their heads to go along with 9 rebounds and 7 assists. Needless to say, the Suns take the win in this game, 130-117. Phoenix wins by 13. The player of this game for me is Devin Booker. I really hope that this hot streak that they've been on and he's been leading the Suns to some incredible wins will amount to them making the playoffs. However, they do have an uphill battle to fight, but I'm sure D-Book is up to the challenge. And in Game 4, we have the Boston Celtics versus the Memphis Grizzlies. Now for Memphis, this was a game that they really needed to win, with Portland Trail Blazers nipping at their heels. Their hold on the 8th seed was shaky to say the least. One thing I can say about Memphis is that they came out and they balled like they meant it, with 6 different players scoring in double digits, led by Ja Morant, who scored 26 points on the night. However, unlike some other playoff teams, Boston was not taking it easy on them at all. Jason Tatum comes out and drops 29 on Memphis, on ridiculous shooting splits, shooting 10 of 13 from the field, good for 77% from the field, and an incredible 80% from three-point land. Needless to say that with all their injuries, the Grizzlies couldn't get it done against such a well-rounded team like the Boston Celtics. Boston takes the win in this one. The final score, 122-107. Celtics will win by 15. And now we move on to Game 5, in which we have the Portland Trail Blazers versus the Dallas Mavericks. Speaking of players who've been really performing in the bubble, we have Luka Doncic going up against Damian Lillard. To say this game was a duel really wouldn't be doing it justice. With incredible stat lines, both players led their teams to incredible performances. Dallas controlled the first quarter, Portland controlled the second 2. However, the excitement really starts in the fourth quarter. Portland enters the quarter leading by 3, but Dallas makes short work of that lead and aims to build one of their own. Not to be outdone, the Blazers won't go down without a fight. They start bombing away threes from Damian Lillard and fourth quarter Melo. With CJ McCollum in foul trouble, Carmelo Anthony really turned up for the Blazers today. He shot 60% from three-point land and hits 2 huge three-pointers late in the fourth quarter to keep the Blazers in the game. But tonight was the Dame and Luka show. Both players trading blow for blow, going back and forth with some incredible offensive performances. With the Blazers down by 3 and a minute and a half on the clock, Damian Lillard has the ball on an island at the logo. He throws up an absolute prayer, which bounces high off the rim and comes back down and enters the bucket. It's safe to say that this was a dagger. Although Luka was able to make one of his 2 free throws, and Dallas had what could have been the final possession, there was an unlucky offensive foul, which ultimately led to Dallas losing this game. The final score, 134-131. Blazers win by 3. And with this win, the Portland Trail Blazers climb over the Memphis Grizzlies and seize the 8th seed and look to hold on tight to it to secure their position in the play-in game. The player of this game is the absolute assassin, Damian Lillard, who ends his night tying his career high with 61 points to go along with 5 rebounds and 8 assists. But what's most incredible is the fact that Dame was able to do this on incredible shooting splits, shooting only 32 field goal attempts and scoring 17 of them, good for 53% from the field. He hit every one of his free throws, each one of those necessary to get Portland the win this evening. And in Game 6, we have the New Orleans Pelicans versus the Sacramento Kings. As these 2 teams are already out of playoff contention, I'm not going to waste my time and yours diving into the play-by-play. No star players played. With nothing to play for, Lonzo decided not to suck, and the Kings win by 6. Final score, 106-112. And in our 7th and final game, we have the Bucks versus the Washington Wizards. The Bucks rest 4 of their regular rotational pieces in Eric Bledsoe, Dante DiVincenzo, Wesley Matthews, and Chris Middleton. The Wizards are already out, so their players are playing for experience. Today, they got to experience what it feels like to be outmatched and outclassed. We got to see how truly deep this Bucks team was tonight. Giannis played barely 10 minutes, and Brook Lopez only 23. However, we saw some third string guys in DJ Wilson, Sterling Brown, and Frank Mason dropping some impressive numbers on the Wizards. I understand that the Wizards are without their star players. However, I expected their high draft pick in Rui Hachimura to be more of a hurdle for a depleted Bucks team, but unfortunately, he wasn't. Milwaukee led by as much as 22 points, and the Wizards never led once. They were absolutely owned. The final score in this one, 126-113. Bucks win by 13. And that wraps up our video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Once again, if you like the type of NBA content that we're issuing on this channel, there will be more in the future, so make sure you like and subscribe. And if you know that any of your friends might enjoy getting daily NBA updates and news, make sure you tell them about us. Because at the moment, we're NBA YouTube's best kept secret. And with that, Mo, Aloe,